Hello Marvel Heroes fans, by popular request, this is a video for Nightcrawler, and first of all, thank you for your request because that encouraged me, motivates me to rediscover a hero. Now there are many good reasons why you should play Nightcrawler. The first and foremost is that he's the fastest hero to get from point A to point B. His teleport is unparalleled. You can't find another hero like he is. It's very useful when it comes to all sort of gameplay like Cosmic Patrol, even the boss rush for Cosmic Terminal. Very nice. And I love the voice acting. It's so you can really feel the character behind it. And I like Nightcrawler from a movie perspective, but I mean, hearing him talk in this game kind of like, sometimes warm my heart just to, I love the character a lot. And he's very agile, he jumps around, and there's no fixed rotation per se. You always have to adapt to the situation. Shall you do a stun, shall you not, shall you grab, shall you not, shall you do a single target cooldown, shall you not. So there's a lot of things going on. Playing Nightcrawler is very fun because it's almost like you are reacting to the situation and to change your gameplay rather than just going through the rotation most of the time kind of thing. So I like the aspect of the game a lot for Nightcrawler. Now those are the plus. And from the cons part is that I feel that he's still a little bit fragile. Maybe he's been designed to be so. As a melee though, is I give him quite hard to get his survivability up, and it's about 26.5k health, and I'm still feeling the pinch a lot when it comes to survivability. So I'll talk a little bit about how I get by and what you could do to sort of help your Nightcrawler on that aspect. And his single target rotation can be a little bit messy because of all these cooldown numbers that go a little bit off here and there, and you probably have to switch things around. I'll talk a little bit about the single target rotation later, which I do not necessarily enjoy, but I do enjoy a lot in those kind of Cosmic Patrol, Cosmic terminal kind of situation. Alright, so in this video I'm going to share with you the in-game footage on how he plays like, and see whether he's your cup of tea. I understand that some of you may be wanting to watch this video to validate certain build that you have already decided upon, and it's great, and I'll share with you some numbers behind and the decision why I choose certain build versus the other build. So he does have another build option, but in the end I've decided to stick with the one that I feel most comfortable with. I will also, in this video, something new to the new players as well, talk a little bit on the defense and the dodge, because first of all, he has two toggles to choose from. The first question is that should I be using Advancing Guard or the Heartseeker, right? So that I would address with some numbers behind it to sort of like trying to show you the way as well. You can make your own decision because your hero may gear differently from mine. All right. Then as usual, I'll talk a little bit about the build, the gear, the Omega Point, hero synergy, and so on. All right. So before I move on to the next part of the video, which is on the footage, so just would like to show you some of the power he has. All right. So he has quite a few power I use. I'm using the sword build and the teleporter side. I'm using a bit of everything actually. I've tried the Brimstone Beatdown build and I've tried the X/ build. So this video is X/ build. So the main spender, which account for about 33% of the damage output of your hero, taking into consideration all this animation that goes on, is about 33%. So it is very important. I like the X/, it hits really fast and it has a damage over time component to it because of the passive. And Sword also has something called the Death Blow that is execute. I kind of like execute power, especially with the cooldown. So it's actually quite smooth as well. And that is your execute. Every 3 seconds you can use it, and you could use it to time some of your like when to apply the Infernal Brimstone, you can use it to use this one to time this one if you so wish to. All right. So the Infernal Brimstone is the one that is it opens up an area of damage. You can actually do multiple ones, and depending on as and when the boss move, you can start to trade kind of trap them with all these Infernal Brimstone. Is very nice because a lot of heroes these days may have some certain restriction, as in like you can only do 2 of them. Sometimes you can overlap, like Dr. Doom's one, I think. So this one is very nice. You can just keep painting the whole town purple if you want. All right. Then he has his signature as well called Righteous Frenzy. So the signature works this way, right? You can activate 5 times within 15 seconds, and you can or you can just burst it and sort of like rapidly do 5 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hit it 5 times for burst damage. I would not advise for that. I can show you some numbers later. You lose about 30% DPS on this power if you use it 5 times across 15 seconds. But I believe that is more than compensated because it does a buff to your melee as well as your attack speed as well. So that is very nice, and it is a plus 25% on top. There's no diminishing. Well, okay, there may be diminishing return, but still 25% is quite a fair bit. All right. So my suggestion is that if you can time it well, 3 seconds, just do it. Sometimes you may not be able to time it well. You do it a little bit shorter, that's fine too. Do your best. But my advice is to actually lengthen this one to up to. So you have 40-second cooldown and you have 15 seconds of the buff. So in total, it's 55-second cooldown for the whole cycle, which is, I believe, is worth it. All right. The last one I'd like to talk about is the flash and grab. This is one of the reasons why I've stopped playing Nightcrawler, because I've seen in his golden day how great this power was. I believe for those who has been with this game for a while and has played Nightcrawler on day 1 would agree with me that the flash and grab was the most unique power ever at that time. You are able to create a dead zone in the middle, and you are able to grab all the mobs around into this dead zone, regardless, even boss and so on. Any elite, you can just grab them onto this dead zone and do your damage there. So the philosophy was very different. Instead of going to hit with the to attack the mob, grab the mob onto a place whereby it's favorable to you. So if there are power cosmic, doesn't matter, grab the boss across the room to continue to do damage. So it was fantastic. I was having so much fun with it. It was like, whoa, Darjeeling has created a hero so unique. And guess what? They nerf it because sometimes we can't have all the good things in life because people start to grab the boss around Midtown just to be annoying to other people. And because of all this, unpleasantness, they nerf this power so that you can't really grab. So you can flash, but you cannot grab for the boss, for example. So that's a bit unfortunate, but enough history. It is what it is now. So I use it to stun. I use it to weaken. That's about it. All right. So next part of the video is on in-game footage on how Nightcrawler played like. All right. First stop, Cosmic Curse, and usually just go in and then grab and after that do a Bamf bomb because it's area. And okay, that's you don't really need to do a bomb here. A lot of purple thing going on. Bash and bomb them. And you got this guy here. Doesn't matter. Let's do what's it called? The death blow to it, and it's very nice. Do a Bamf bomb. A lot of stuff just spawn behind here. Alright, so let's move on next bit. Can I grab all these things? No, you can't. You can't grab them here. In the old day you could, but it just can't do it. And it does get his health drop really fast. I don't know why. I mean, it doesn't appear to be so for other heroes I've played. It's just one of those things that he just seems so fragile. Have to handle with care when you play Nightcrawler. I mean, he is pretty slim in real life, so I guess it does sort of like compensate for it. So yeah, just keep your flash on and the Inferno Brimstone and do I don't even need a bomb here just now. Some of this, yeah, sometimes you can grab, sometimes you cannot, but the problem is the consistency. You don't know, so you can't really play it that way. So okay, great. Alright, let's finish him off. Nice and easy. Alright, flash, can I? Okay, sometimes it does, sometimes it works, and it's quite fun when it does. Whoa, look, I'm getting hit like really bad here. Something is hitting me, huh? Alright, yeah, so you can have some scary moments when you play Nightcrawler. Alright, man. Frost Giant meets me. Alright, and another thing I realized that sometimes when I press a button for the Brimstone, maybe I'm pressing it too fast. The game just doesn't register at all. So I wonder, have I not drop a AoE, but it just doesn't work that way. Maybe. Yeah, so that is all. One more group. So I have to time my button to press a little bit slower than the game. It's a bit of a shame. So that's going in curse. What I'll do is that I'll do my standard rotation and I'll use my signature as well. And I'll probably drop a conceal. So I have a map on function key 3, which is the obscuring brimstone, which concealed everybody for 5 seconds. So by the way, F2 is my crowd control breaker, F4 is my stance. Alright, let's go. Nightcrawler, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Alright. Alright, just need a lot of focus here. Alright. Alright, come on, man. Alright, so that's about it. Just have to be careful when with all these new affixes. So I'm quite lucky the affixes wasn't that hard. Sometimes they have all these affixes to heal the boss nowadays, or to add damage to on the boss. So you have to take care of all those totems first. That of course it doesn't look good on video, but these are in real life that you have to deal with. So yeah, I hope I'll give you some idea of how he plays when it comes to Cosmic Terminal Rush, and then next stop I'll just go through some of the Cosmic Patrol. Alright, 6 boss wave in Cosmic Patrol, and this wave is always a little bit hard. Alright, just destroy all these things first, and the Bamf bomb and signature death blow if you can, drop some of the damage over time. Even is there as well, just keep applying pressure, and use the sword to its advantage. Let me get out. There's a lag going on, I can't even really move my character. So that's it, and the good thing about the Nightcrawler, just keep running around and doing your thing. Especially because your sword bleeds, so you can just moving the target around is good, because then you can keep everybody's bleeding to your satisfaction and in a very sinister way. So okay, so signature is up again, signature. Alright, just death blow, signature. So I mean, just move around a little bit. Okay, Venom, the death blow, then go out to the sky. So the fun part of playing Nightcrawler is to hit enemy where it's least expected, because I think that is what the good thing about a teleporter hero here. It's a melee teleporter. Excellent. So that is the boss wave in the Cosmic Patrol. Okay, Sinister Wave, and guess what? It's at the same place as the map before, and this is one of the favorite spawn plays. So that's the CC breaker, by the way. The crowd control breaker is important. So yeah, looking a little bit messy right now. A lot of loot on the floor. No one is taking it. Alright, so it's about again putting in the damage over time, spamming some of the SWAT to various villains. I don't know why Mr. Sinister is over there instead. Alright, death blow, and that's about it. Yeah, this is not one of those waves that is nice, because all the villains are sort of pretty spread out. Okay, breaker as well. Alright, so Bamf bomb and the keep hitting, and the stealth, and I think I messed up that one a little bit in the last one. Alright, Bamf bomb and death blow, and that's about it. Go to the other one as well. Lay down the damage over time. Signature, blow, signature, and bam. Oh, break the CC breaker. Alright, so it's using a few times today. And that's great, because it does demonstrate that the CC breaker, the crowd control breaker, is important in this game, because it gets done and you can't do anything. Sometimes you lose your life, sometimes you get lose in DPS, of course. Yeah, all right. Welcome back to the training room. This part of the video, let's talk about the gears and build. All right. So the build I'm using is very much pretty standard, I think. it is to choose between the teleporter on the Brimstone Beatdown versus the X/. I think that is the main difference between various builds I can see from other guys. All right. So the reason why I picked X/ is that I enjoy the damage over time from the Master Swordsman passive. That is very nice bleed to it. So and you know, you don't need to do anything, it just run in the background. So I really like about it, and it buffed my death blow as well, because I like the execute function when it comes to all this power. Brimstone Beatdown on its own has a better DPS because of the damage to elite and boss. But if you add on to the rest of stuff that you know, all the goodies from this passive, and you realize that, well, I mean, you know, you have to get a death blow anyway for the cooldown layer. So you know, naturally this is the way to go. All right. So one option is using this one, but I also tried the blink strike as well. But you know, as the enemy come down to just one, I think it only hit once. I tried on the dummy, so you know, it doesn't. Yeah, I don't really fancy the blink strike at all. And repeat this still reduce damage to the same enemy. I don't know what exactly it means, but you know, I when I use it on the dummy, I only see one number that comes up, so I don't know exactly what it does. Which number doesn't look that great either. So, so you know, you could use this option, or you could use this sword option. So it's entirely your choice. I found that I have more success using this one. All right. So that is on the power on the sword side. So that is it. And the Brimstone, Infernal Brimstone, is something that you probably have to take because of vulnerability and the damage over time. That is pretty alright. Signature, just max it as well. So now, there are a couple of passive to think about, because you can have one step ahead is a passive, this one is also a passive, quite a lot of passive. So in the end, and toggle as well as a passive. So in the end, I choose something like the Advancing Guard, which I'll show you a number later. It makes sense to pick this one instead. You know, I can actually toggle between the two to show you. So this one, the damage rating is 783. If you toggle to say the crit itself is only about 457. All right. So if you notice the costume are fixed budgets, you know, the crit hit rating and the damage rating actually close to 1-to-1. So by looking at that, you know that one is losing out, and then, you know, this one is on defense, the other one is on dodge. I'll show you the number later. Dodge doesn't make sense, so that you just have to take Advancing Guard. You know, my advice to you. For these trees, a lot of 1 points here and there. I put 1 point in the Crowd Control Breaker. I put 1 point on the Obscuring Brimstone because it helps to conceal. You know, it helps for the 5 seconds when you do Cosmic Boss Rush. As you see some of the clips, he can get a little bit fragile. And the Fresh and Grab, just one point is sufficient. It doesn't do much damage. I'll show you a number again later. And also Bamf Boom, this one hits really hard, but make sure you are stealth within the 2 seconds of breaking stealth. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you may not, you may miss it, but in as much as possible, you should. My advice also, if you are dealing with single target, you know, do the death blow before the Bamf Bomb, because Bamf Bomb has about 1 second animation. So if you do this one before that one, it's sort of like you delay this one later. So you know, always do the death blow before the Bamf Bomb. So it runs very nice for the 2 second kind of like 2 second stealth break for this power. So that's all I would like to talk about the power itself. The Omega system is 10 points on spin tag, and the you know, I need the 3 and 6 from here. I think most melee hero, or most hero these days, I pick 3 and 6 here. You know, 5 points on strength is great, and then the points leading to this one is great as well, 7 and 5. That's why I'm comfortable in investing. And the 13 points here, these are point dumper. 4 is sufficient. Going beyond that is just cost too much. All right, 5 point here is nice because it has the health increase as well. So you actually add up a few things. It is actually quite okay. The total cost of 5 points, but beyond which can be a little bit expensive. And I've got 5 points here and 5 points there for the crit damage rating as well as the brutal strike rating. Nothing here and nothing. This is just points dumper. So my favorite tree is that I've got some here, the 9 here for the fighting. I can only afford to have 3. I could have done 1 more, but I run out of pawns. And after that, I've done remaining points to blob, which I sacrifice on dodge, but again on defense. I'll show you some numbers later. You know, even if you take the max of it, you know, it is still better than than buffing dodge at all. So this one is the the standard frenzy, which I enjoy using. The melee power, again the crit damage rating. I think that's all about the Omega system. Hero synergy, nothing really to, you know, just pick anything melee and physical. I think that is about it. Nothing really different. The only thing I enjoy is because I bleed. You know, I bleed the target when I use sword, so I use X23 synergy instead. Okay, so that's all it is. Let's talk about the gear itself. So let me put back everything, show you some numbers. All right. So, courtesy of Captains, my friend in game, you know, he donated this item to me. Very thankful of that, and you know, it's great for any physical hero, especially for Nightcrawler. I tell you why, because his defense is actually pretty low, even with the stands. So that really helps. You know, every defense help a little bit. I think his defense is only about 35. I think that is before the stands. So with the stands, about the 41. So 41 is a little bit on the low side, so I have to be careful on that. So this one fits quite nicely. You can see without it, you get about 40. So you know, you get a little bit more, 41. So 1%. Take what it is, and the. I like this one because it has the crit damage rating, so that's a nice roll as well. For melee hero, this is a very nice artifact as well. It has health, it has the physical damage rating, and meta sensory is something that I use for all my heroes. Not necessarily the best roll here, but you know, I use what I have, and I bless everything to Hela. Medallion. The best for Nightcrawler, of course, is going to be Curse because of melee plus the crit and brutal on that side as well. But I use Kingpin because you know, I need a little bit of health for Nightcrawler. You can see that he can get hit quite badly. I think it's because of the lack of projectile deflection. I'm not quite sure. He just feels so fragile when I run terminal with him. I feel a little bit scary actually. So Kingpin is alright. I mean, it has a health component to it, missing all the crits and brutal. Right. There are other options as well. Sabertooth is another one that you may consider because it has the damage rating towards the bleeding target. So when you use sword, you bleed the target anyway. Unfortunately, I only have 1 costume. I usually have 2, but I sort of crafted away his default. I think I thought I would not play him anymore, right? But I do. So it's unfortunate because if I had a health costume, his health probably could go up to 29, right? 29-ish, close to 30, but I can't. So I have to live with what I have, and that's why I have to work a little bit harder on the health side. And so I compensate using the insignia for the health. The melee is a bit low, but the health is pretty nice. And I like this buff as well. The team aura, whatever you call it. So I'm doing a little bit more on bringing his health up. I could have enchanted his unique as well. I should have done it. I'm still farming unique. Although some of these rolls are pretty nice. So I could have gotten another 600 out, so it become 27,000. But he still dropped quite fast. Alright, so crit damage rating if you are looking for DPS gear. So one option is that if you do not have 2 gear to swap, I was considering to use Curse and the Juggernaut medallion because the Juggernaut gives you extra 2 point something thousand health, and that's useful as well. So yeah, I mean, the choice is yours on what you feel comfortable with. The best is Curse. Otherwise, you can swap between like Juggernaut in a Cosmic Petrol or the Lizard as well. It's pretty nice, but I don't really like the medallion that only have crit, doesn't have any flat damage because I need the flat damage more than the crit, because his crit actually is pretty decent as well. I think the melee crit about the what is the crit like? So the crit is like yeah, 49.5%, so it's all right. I mean, and this formula doesn't factor in the crit and the physical and melee addition to each other. And when this one proc as well, yeah, I mean there are a lot of things that may proc as well, because all is unique. Actually, is very nice. It has a lot of like proc that when you use teleport power, you get all this crit hit rating. So I'm not too worried about Nightcrawler's crit, because all these things will kicks in from the unique brutal strike will kicks in as well. Then +1 fighting kick in. So it's a lot of things that that is going on with the unique behind the scene. But I think it's just a little bit too overwhelming to talk about it. All right. So I use all is unique. When it enchant melee on both sides or physical, doesn't matter. Both are the same. All right. For grade 70, legendary is Gungnir, but for grade 80, it's going to be the axe. That's best. For the relics, you could use melee power. I use it, or you could use the health return if you are not comfortable with Nightcrawler's health. Lady of the Sword is nice because 200 physical, 200 melee, and 200 defense rating. It all adds up. Also generate health when I hit an enemy a little bit. 40 is not a lot to shout about, but it is what it is. Then more health, more melee on the Nightcrawler, because all his tagging is all melee. All right. So the pet is just, this is the basic, the health, spirit, brutal damage, +1 to all rank, as well as the +3 fighting. All right. So that's the basic stuff that's going on. If you have other better medallion, the artifact, if you want to do Jump of the Curse, use it to replace this one. Feel free to do that. Not just stick with whatever I have. You can do much better. All right. So that is on the build and so on. The next part of the video is talking about the numbers behind it. All right. Okay, on to the number itself. Let's look at the raw power without gear, without Omega Point, no hero synergy, no teamwork gear, or passive and so on. So as always, I always jot down all the numbers and just study a little bit on where I can sort of like take advantage of, or which area I should avoid. So the first thing you realize, or I realize, is that the flash and grab is really low. So there's no point in maxing it at all. So 1 point is sufficient. The Bamf bomb actually is pretty nice. The DPS for single target is this one. Imagine the multiple targets. And normally you see the, how do you compare whether it's good or not? Normally, like for instance, you compare with things like, the damage over time, things like Inferno Brimstone. It's about 10k. I mean, for any hero, usually about 9k, 10k. That's about the any of those damage over time. Cooldown usually a little bit lesser maybe. So Bamf bomb is actually pretty good. It is good because of the 100% buff. So I always assume that you do a stealth before you bomb. So if you don't, then it's about 7k, which is aligned with other hero design that I've seen. So this one make use of that stealth buff. The blink strike is very hard to model, but I think for single target it's about 9k. So yeah, I mean the Brimstone Beatdown actually is pretty high as a single target. So it beat the X-Slash. But then what X-Slash is great is that with the Master Swordsman, it buffed the X-Slash as well, because X-Slash has the crit and brutal damage buff. So you add this one together, it's about it's about the 35k. So I mean, it's close to what this one have with all this like jazz on this buff as well. I reckon is pretty good. And also this one will come down as well. The 40% just an addition, not the multiplication. But when you're without gear, then of course the 40% means quite a lot. So so in the end, I choose the X-Slash because this one looks really great, and the damage over time is nice because not always, you see it on the video, sometimes he has to run a little bit, and then at least the damage over time is kicking, continue to tick. This one, you don't need to do anything, but it ticks on its own, right? So I've done it study for others as well. The flying saber, I don't know, I don't really use quite a lot of spirit though. Death Bolt is Death Blow. Without you always average out to be 50% execution, because at the beginning you are probably looking at the 8k, but when towards the end, of course, it's a lot higher. So in the middle ground, it's about 12k. So it is a very decent cooldown power to use. So so that's how I build my hero. Looking at this number, looking at end game as well. When all the number factors in, the Bamf boom 71, 72k, and the and what I've done is that for the Righteous Frenzy, I can either burst it or I can use the 15 seconds buff. So the drop in DPS is about 27%. But I reckon that would be offset by the fact that you buff your melee as well as the attack speed and so on as well. So I would prefer to use this throughout this 15-second duration if I can, and it regenerates spirit as well. Pretty nice stuff. X slash is very high. I mean, the DPS is of course the highest of all, but then you have to take in the animation penalty, so you can't really benefit 100% of it. So I cut off 1/3 of it. It gives me, what it really means is that if I add on to all this DPS to my rotation counter, the single target spender account for about 1/3 of the damage output, which is along with what my expectation. That's why I said if you can collect the power cube, use it on the X slash if you can get 4 of them, if you are not already at the rank 50. All right, very nice. This bleed just go 30k on its own. So yeah, I mean, this one, consider the fact that you just need to hit it with your sword once every 4 seconds, you get the benefit of it. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. So I hope that gives you some idea when it comes to the build itself, why I'm convinced that this is a pretty nice build. In terms of toggle wise, so this is what I would like to share with you. If I use the Heartseeker Guard, which is the one that with the crit and above the dodge, now of course the dodge is higher than the advancing guard, right? So imagine if there's an incoming damage of 100k or 100, whatever it is. If you successfully dodge, you avoid 50% of it. So, you know, instead of taking 100, you actually take 50. But because of the defense that knock off another 36%, you are taking in 32, unit of damage. But if you fail to dodge, then you have to take 64 because the dodge is not going to save you. You are saved by defense. So how it works is this, right? The defense will then reduce whatever incoming damage you have. The dodge is the one that reduces that incoming damage by either 50% or 0 or nothing, right? So the maximum damage you receive is 64 unit of damage, while on average you are getting about 49. Just sometimes you can dodge, sometimes you cannot dodge, right? So if I use Advancing Guard, which actually increase the defense by mere 8%, but you actually drop your dodge by quite a fair bit, about 18%. But look at the number itself. What it really means is that, yeah, sure, I mean, if you can dodge, you receive lesser damage, but when you're, it receives lesser damage because of the higher defense that you have. And if you look at the maximum damage received, this is what you kill your hero, right? Because when there's a spike coming in, the question is that if you can't dodge it, what's going to happen? So what it really means is that if you're geared for dodge, which you choose the Heartseeker Guard, you are pretty doomed because you are getting hit quite hard. This dodge is not saving you. What's saving you from the kill is defense, right? Is defense. So if I look at the average damage received, I'm actually getting about 49 anyway. So net, the average damage received, either toggle is the same. So on paper, it looks, yeah, great. But then if you use the Heartseeker Guard, you actually get a spike higher than the Advancing Guard. That's what it means. And then what about Advancing Guard with the 25 block note on the Omega system? Your gain in the defense is not going to be a lot, but you drop quite a fair bit on the dodge because, although the trade is 1-to-1, but there's a diminishing return. So, you're trying to gain higher on defense is harder than losing the dodge. But guess what? I mean, you still would, get lesser damage received as well as, your maximum damage received. The spike will be softened more, of course, due to this defense here. But I wouldn't recommend you putting 25 on this block note. I just dump all the points in, and I'm already feeling the hits. I believe even if I up this one any further, it just doesn't work. The hero is just kind of fragile anyway. So yeah, I mean, I thought this gives you some kind of like to me it's quite an eye-opening experience to look at all this number, because what it really means is that either toggle on average receive, you are fine, but just that one handle the spike better than the other. So why they designed that way, I do not know. They should just take it away. I mean, they should just remove this one, forget about toggle, make it as a passive Advancing Guard. That is my thought. In terms of rotation, a little bit hard to explain with the spreadsheet, but what I really want to say is that use the Death Blow before the Bamf Bomb, because because the animation that you have on the Bamf boom, you don't want that to mess up your death blow. All right, so if you do this one, you can try out. If you do a bomb before the blow, then you find that your whole rotation is being messed up a little bit. And also, the brimstone, when you apply, is very hard to really gauge because it doesn't. I try to get a pattern out of it. It just getting too hard. So my suggestion is as and when you see the purple disappear, just reapply. That's probably the best way. All right, so I hope this video is useful on Nightcrawler. I have a lot of blast when I teleport and play with him. A little bit stressful though on his health, a little bit fragile. I wish I had the 25 core that would help a lot. Sorry, the core on invulnerable when you use a bubble. And I wish there's a second costume for him as well. But I mean, that's the area that I would like to work on Nightcrawler. So let me know how you like this, how you like your Nightcrawler, and as always, share the comments below. A lot of fans are reading it as well, and I've got a whole bunch of other guys as well. Look at the description. I have a link there. All right, goodbye.